Previously on IXION. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 2. So here we are. The Tycoon is not exactly in a great state. We have lost hull integrity, and by the judge of it, we're consistently losing hull integrity. So this thing needs to get fixed, and in order to do that, we're going to need to repair the hull using the EVA. So let's see. The EVA system. The EVA airlock is online. Let's make sure that we are actually repairing the outer hull. Hull repair activated. We're going to need to construct a probe in the probe launcher. So let's go ahead and do that and see exactly where the hell we're at. So let's build a probe. It's going to take a couple of polymers. We still have some, but not many. We're going to need to be fairly careful with this. As for the rest, resolve the event, the ghost of the Urshanabi on the planetary system map. So let's see. We're still in orbit of the sun, or rather we're in orbit of the moon. But the moon does not quite look as healthy as you'd expect. So let's send out the rats to see what we can figure out from the Urshanabi. Our sensors have detected the Urshanabi. The ship is broken in two and not transmitting any signals. And Earth apparently isn't doing that well either. So, all sorts of lovely stuff happening. I also need to feed 1,000 crew members. I only have 178, so this is definitely going to take a couple of cycles. As for my research, let's have a look. What can I actively research? What's going to be useful? We currently have access to we have access to everything in the secondary ring. I can go for batteries, steel mill, polymer refinery, electronics factory. These are going to turn iron into alloy, this is going to turn carbon into polymer, and this is going to turn silicon into electronics. Cryonic Center is going to awaken humans stored in cryonic pods. Now this is something that you can pick up on missions, I believe, or story elements. And this will allow you to turn these cryopods into actual crew members. We also have access to memorials. It's going to provide more stability. And it's going to give me the Alternative Life Center for another 45, which also provides stability in the sector. So quite a lot of stability gain. Based on my current predicament and, well, potential lack of resources, I'm much more interested in getting something like the polymer refinery up. Because if I can start mining carbon, I should be able to start turning that into polymer. So let's research this eventually, because I don't have enough research points. Let's see, the science ship has arrived. The phrase, "whoever helps Dolos is an enemy of humanity," has been daubed in large letters on the hull wreck, on the wreck of the Urshanabi. Mummified bodies have been attached to its hull. Wow. I can gather some resources, but it probably won't be that much. Damn, somebody really didn't like the Urshanabi. Somebody really didn't like Dolos either, which is my corporation. Now, as for the rest of the ships, I don't really have much to do. I can, however, try and find an asteroid, because I now have a probe. And that means that on the map, I can use the probe. And I can send out a probe to start figuring out where exactly we're going to find one of those suitable asteroids. So let's launch the probe onto the... Let's see, this is going to yield quite a bit of science. That's nice, but I would prefer iron. Yeah, something like this. It's a bit of everything. It's going to have iron, it's going to have carbon, it's not going to have silicon or hydrogen. It is going to have some ice. And it's going to have a bunch of points of interest, apparently. Holy crap, that's really high. Based on the asteroid belt composition here, I think this spot here, the one I just had, is pretty good. Wow, that's a lot of iron. Let's go there. Probe on the way. And I actually want a new probe, because if there is more science to be had here, and if I can start turning that science into that factory, then I should be able to keep the Tycoon going for quite a while longer. Let's see what we can get from the Urshanabi.
A science ship team has completed.
We got 42
the task.
food. The ship is full of food. I hope the expiration date hasn't passed. Everything is ready for extraction. Very good. That means that the science ship is done, and the cargo ship is now going to go and collect the resource. Beyond what I'm seeing here, I don't think the rat has any particular job right now. But I do expect there to be something out here. Because the probe did detect something out there. Look at that. There's a couple of iron deposits. And that means I should be able to start mining. Let's go for iron and ice. I believe that's ice anyway. Yeah, ice. Ice can be found in asteroids. Once mined, it can be transformed into water by a fusion station. Which I haven't researched yet, so we'll need a bit of time in order to make that thing eventually feasible. But if I can store the ice somewhere, that'd be great. Speaking of, I don't believe I actually have a storage for ice. So let's make sure that that becomes a reality. Let's deploy another stockpile here. And I'm going to reroute this road, because I don't like how this turned out. And I want to have another stockpile here. I'm trying to keep all my stockpiles fairly concentrated, so that if I'm building something anywhere in Sector 1, it's going to very quickly get there, that resource. Alright, so this one is going to store ice. This one's going to store, yeah, I'd say basic iron for now, because I don't have a smelter yet. And I'm going to have to wait for it. Administrator, you may have noticed that the moon has broken apart. The crew are aware of this, and many rumors have spread throughout the station. You have to make an official statement. I can say Dolos has many enemies. Something must have happened during the test jump. Being such a high-profile event, it was the perfect opportunity for them to strike and sabotage our plans. Or I can say it's our fault. Despite our robust safety measures, a system failure at the exact moment of the jump caused the engine to drag a part of the moon with it into self-similar space. This failure has cost humanity dearly. Our mission is now to rebuild. Or I can say it was humanity's fate. Evidence suggests a great deal of time has passed in the solar system. The moon's destruction is obviously a consequence of humanity's selfish and warlike instincts. Well, considering how closely it was timed with what happened with our jump, I'm going to say it's our fault. Trust penalty -5. I don't mind that. Honesty is a very highly held personal value of mine, so I'm going to be honest with my crew. Let's make sure that we at least send an expedition to Earth to figure out what's going on there. That sounds like a job for the science ship. Where's the rat? Let's go. 1.2 cycles will be there. So let's see what's going on with Earth. No signals have been received from Earth. The oceans seem to have evaporated, and the surface temperature has risen significantly since the Tycoon was last in orbit. Atmospheric readings indicate the presence of strong dust storms and dangerously high levels of carbon dioxide, radiation, and microplastics. The blue planet will never again deserve its name. Oof. Okay. Depending on how much time I want to invest into this, I can go one turn and investigate the Dolos headquarters. I can investigate my personal location, so my family home, or I can scour the globe in search of survivors. I think this is the right thing to do. Scour the globe in search of survivors. While I am officially, as an administrator, an employee of Dolos, I think humanity's stake at large is far, far more important here. So let's make sure that we figure out what the hell happened there. Transmission from the rat's team. After a long search, we have found nothing but rubble. We've seen no signs of life, not even a corpse. The lunaclism seems to have caused a series of events that precipitated the collapse of thermo-industrial civilization. The Earth has become a toxic and arid wasteland scoured by harsh winds, now more inhospitable than Mars. The only remnants of civilization we found was a full steel where the city of Washington once stood. Stuck in a crevasse, it had been sheltered from the wind. A prayer imploring divine forgiveness was engraved in gold on its surface. Now, at least I get a lot of resources out of this, but I was kind of hoping for survivors. Let's see. I can still investigate Dolos headquarters and my personal location. Let's go for the headquarters first. And make sure that, well, at least something's going on there. and there's a whole bunch of stuff to research and to get from here. Especially the amount of resources that I'm getting from here. The science is going to come in very, very nicely. Because with that, I'll be able to start building out the facilities that I need. Polymer's almost done. Next thing is going to be the steel mill for these 2 basic resources. Although, with the amount of polymers that I'm getting from Earth, I should have a fairly healthy stock for a while. Next, we have figured out what happened at Dolos headquarters. The converted oil rig, which Dolos used as its state-of-the-art headquarters, is gone. Only a few metal scraps remain, scattered across an expanse of dusty, cracked earth. No sign of survivors. Another really nice amount of science plus a lot of alloys. I hope I'm going to be able to stash all of this. Because at the moment, I don't think I can stash this much. Does it say how much I can stash? Because I got 1, 2, 3, so I can stash 300. I'm also getting the iron, but will not be able to convert that yet. So that's going to take me a little while longer. You can see the game also says that I need to research the steel mill, so with the amount of science coming in, that should not be a problem at all.
A probe has completed its schedule.
Now, I did launch another probe. I accidentally sent it out here where it was actually not going to find anything. And with my newfound source of polymers, I can actually get another probe and do another bit of surveying. Maybe we can find another one of those points of interest that seems to be hiding somewhere in the asteroid belt. The final thing I did was investigate the administrator's home. A huge crevasse cuts through the ground where your home once stood. No trace of civilization. Apparently we do have a bunch of satellites or some sort in orbit. Is that a space station perhaps? So, I don't know, it looks like humanity may have survived a bit. At least the materials that we left behind, but humanity itself, not so much. Again, 45 research, 121 alloys, and 9 electronics. That's new. We haven't seen those before. A little while later, we have a great thaw event. Administrator, to safeguard humanity, we must find survivors and increase this station's population. We do not have the time to go through the classic reproductive cycle of our species. Adding new crew members to the Tycoon's crew will have a positive effect on morale. Cryonic stasis, a practice pioneered by Dolos, was in growing use even before we left the solar system. There will be a very high likelihood that cryonic pods containing survivors await discovery. Perfect. So the new objective is to find 500 of these cryonic pods, bring them aboard, and I suppose eventually de-thaw them. So we're going to need the cryonic center in order to do that. First, however, I want to get the steel mill going, so we can actually turn all of this iron that we've mined, more so than I can actually store, into usable alloys, because right now, I'm pretty devoid of alloys. Administrator, mission reports from the expedition to Earth are being discussed among the crew. The thought of having lost all loved ones left behind has destroyed morale for many of them. The symptoms of this trauma have now been collated under the medical designation Dead Earth Sickness. -1 permanent stability issue. Perfect. I understand. I mean, these people lost loved ones. They realized probably that once Earth no longer replied, something must have been horribly, horribly wrong. And if Earth isn't replying anymore, then there's a fairly high likelihood that everybody they once knew on Earth is now dead. So yeah, I can't exactly blame them. This must be really, really hard. Let's see. Put another stockpile up. I have set up the polymer refinery. It is going to be connected to a electronics stockpile, which is going to be this one. And eventually I'll be able to get the carbon and thus the polymer supplies that I actually need. Right now, this thing is largely useless. I'm also researching the steel mill, so that's coming up next. A few cycles later, I have kind of redone the interior of Sector 1. I have moved over the EVA airlock, I've moved over the probe launcher to sit squarely against the right hand side. I've got the tech lab here, and speaking of tech, I sent a probe out to Mars to figure out what is going on there. And this little icon here indicates that there are cryonic pods here to be had. So, seeing as we're kind of done finishing Earth and its resources, there are still some resources to mine here, iron, but I can't really stash it anywhere. I can still bring ice, provided that I actually equip a storage coal or a storage thing for that. But for now, actually, let's have a look at this coal.
Administrator, we are picking up a Dolos emergency frequency broadcasting from the facility Outer Hope.
Survivors.
Dolos protocol dictates that in the event of a major systems failure, administrators must contact the nearest Dolos site immediately.
Okay.
Outer Hope Station is likely to have both the materials and expertise required to repair the damage that the VOHLE-engine has sustained.
Where can we find this? Report to Dolos. Sure. Oh, I don't even know where it is. Good thing I still have a probe. Or I would have if I hadn't already launched it to figure out what the hell happened with Mars. So let's build a new probe. I have now 140 polymers and these probes are now suddenly relatively cheap, since they only take 3. Now, let's make sure that we have storage for everything. I haven't set up storage for... Oh, sorry, I have set up storage for ice. Let's make sure that we bring some of that aboard. I want to give a higher priority to ice. Food is already done. There are cryonic pods to be had, so let's bring those aboard. And seeing as I have completed the research on the cryonic center, I should be able to build one. This is where the city builder / puzzle comes in, because where do you want it? How much room is this going to take up? For example, the steel mill over here takes a ton of room. It's enormous. And I don't exactly know how much room I'm going to need for other buildings, so seeing as I simply don't know, and that you get a full refund for any resources you expend, I'm not really going to take too much time planning, because I can always just break it down and build it up somewhere else. Uh-oh.
A new request awaits your attention.
What happened here? An explosion in the building. Fix that stuff.
An accident has occurred in the Tycoon.
An accident has occurred in the mess hall. Stanford knee-high claim projections indicate that poor working conditions and power overloads can cause accidents. It should also be taken into consideration that larger buildings are more likely to have more serious accidents. Great. I can repair the mess hall within 10 cycles and keep it running. Or I can say the repairs can wait. No. I found the repair for the mess hall to be rather critical. Repair is in progress, and it should be operational very quickly, so we can actually have some food again. Speaking of, the amount of food that I'm currently generating is not that much. It seems to be insufficient for the amount of people that I have aboard. So I had a look at all of these farms here, and I'm thinking it might be more beneficial to rotate these things. So to set them up like this, but then I have the space there that I cannot actually use. So I'd have to have like 2 separate insect farm locations. I could set up another one here. And again, I don't exactly know what the optimal builds are going to be. So let's set one up here for the time being, and let's see if that's going to do for now. It might not be ideal, but we'll just have to make do. Now, I am kind of in trouble here when it comes to power requirements. I don't have enough power for the insect farm and the cryonic center. I don't have any cryopods right now, so I'm going to turn off the power here, and we're immediately going to start working on the additional set of solar panels. I already upgraded to solar panel 2, now we're going to go upgrade to solar panel 3, and I have just enough resources to do that. Hull repair will be temporarily paused, that's fine. The hull repair is looking quite good. 734 over 900, so it could have been worse. What's happening on Mars? An old, disused complex, named Richter's Facility, has been located on the surface of Mars. The derelict, UN-owned facility is covered almost entirely by Martian sand. Existing Dolos clearance codes can be used to interact with the complex's systems. Caution is advised as the weight of the sand may exceed the structure's load-bearing capacity. Okay, let's see if we can access it. And what comes out. Now the probe should be ready. Let's set this to auto-build, because I have enough polymers for now. And let's see if we can find that station wherever it is. I need to have a perfect spike when it comes to the science bar. Or, well, point of interest might be it. And if I can find some carbon, that would also be very welcome, because I would very much like a supply. Oh, this looks promising. There. Right there. Launch the probe. And we're going to immediately build a new one, because I do believe that there is much, much more to be found out here. The science team reports in. The codes briefly reactivated the base's defensive systems. Due to the facility's state, they unfortunately overloaded and are now offline. The team of the Riot did not suffer any losses. Excellent. So, anything else we can get? I can investigate the storage area, the scientific study area, a full sweep, or prepare it for resource extraction. I would like to see if they have any data on what happened to the moon and or what happened to Earth. That, right now, is a priority for me. Because beyond, well, the moon, or the lunaclasm, I believe they called it, I don't exactly know what's going on here. I don't exactly know what caused all of this destruction on Earth, but losing your satellite probably isn't very helpful. The science reports in. They're able to extract 25 cryopods, very good, and 30 science. We managed to locate and extract a number of encrypted data files from the center's digital archive. During the final stage of extraction, our perimeter team discovered a wall on the verge of collapse. They warned us before it gave way and sand flooded the area. No one was seriously injured. Excellent. Okay, what else can we do on Mars? Or is that the... Oh! Okay, that's the only one. I only had one shot. I couldn't pick any additional ones. Well, that's unfortunate. The good news, however, is that I have found the Outer Hope station. So after the guys here are done extracting the science, I should be able to send the science ship out to Outer Hope to figure out if there's anybody still alive out there. In the meanwhile, I would also like to send out my cargo ship to go pick up cryopods, because there's now a fairly healthy amount of them out there. And there we go, it's on the way. It can hold 30 resource units, and it should be on the way here to pick up... well, the only thing it can pick up, which is cryonic pods, which means more population for me.
Has occurred in the tycoon.
Oh, crap. Another accident. What happened here? A breakdown has occurred and prevents proper operation. What happened? Let's fix this. A stockpile error? An explosion has occurred and prevents proper operation. Bloody hell. Lots of errors going around.
Warning. A sector is being overworked.
Oh crap, we don't have enough population anymore. Okay, I don't have any food either. So making sure that I have enough food is going to be rather important. I don't know if I can prioritize these things over anything else, but I don't need the cryonic center at the moment. And I could even turn off the science lab if I so require. Right now, I hope I have enough people to make enough food, because food is running desperately low. This is one of those resources that you simply cannot run out of, lest you want to find yourself very dead. Alright, is the rat done picking up the science? It is. Alright, dude, let's go to Outer Hope. Let's figure out what the hell happened there. In the meanwhile, I have another probe. Is there anything else interesting out here? And if yes, then where? This looks like a science jackpot. Yeah, might as well. Right there. And let's wait for the guys to get to Outer Hope. The rat arrives at Outer Hope. A Dolus emergency signal is broadcasting from these coordinates. It originates from the research station Outer Hope. It is surrounded by wreckage and debris from a past battle. Broken equipment and frozen bodies float around the station. The emergency signal is transmitting from the inside. Okay, let's go find the survivors first, and we can search the battlefield after. It's going to take 5 cycles, so we'll be there a while. After that is going on, or as that is going on, I am working on de-thawing a couple of survivors. I've taken on quite a few of the cryopods, and I have 19 aboard, 20, they're still being brought in. And with these guys, I can augment my crew. So I have the cryopods stored over here, and they're being brought to here, to the cryonic center, where they're slowly getting de-thawed and turned into more useful population for my system. Now, every now and then I see waste piling up, but I don't have the ability to deal with waste at the moment, and I cannot store it either. I need to be able to select a policy for the sector, and I cannot do that at the moment. So we're just gonna have to hope that these guys can somehow manage their waste, because beyond this, I don't really know what to do about it. Now let's see if I can find something else useful with the probe. Ah, Neptune! Our communication systems have detected faint signals transmitting from what appears to be an old luxury station on Triton. Transmissions analysis pulled a few data fragments encoded within the signals. They mention public disorder, food supply problems, and frequent reference to the name Ulixis. Okay, we're gonna have to send a science ship over there. Any other planets that would be interesting to check out? Any other orbits that I can make use of? This is a... well, it might be a science high point here. I think that's... no, it's not that one. Where is it? Oh, there. Let's have a go. Again, I'm really enjoying the game. Figuring out what the hell happened in our solar system, what happened to Earth, making these decisions for the crew, building up the inside of the Tycoon, and at the same time exploring the other events as they're happening. I'm really enjoying it. And if you are too, then by all means go ahead and buy it. It's really not that expensive, it's not a full AAA price. And if you want to support my channel while doing that, please use the link down below in the description. Now, as for the guys inside, we're looking at 35 cryopods, so I can continuously expand my amount of workers. And I'm still working on the hull integrity of the Tycoon itself. It's not doing that well. It is not doing that well. It feels like we're not actually doing that much to repair the hull. But I do believe that the hull repairs are active. Although I think we might need the Outer Hope station in order to get the full repairs in. As the rat searches the Outer Hope, we found something.
A new request awaits your attention.
Outer Hope lies in ruins. Many unbound bodies were found in the remains of the station. Dolos crew protocols do not direct for this type of preservation. The Rat's team traced the emergency broadcast, and after clearing away several tons of debris, I wonder how they did that, uncovered the station's mainframe. They were able to access and extract Outer Hope's black box. Its data can be analyzed using the Tycoon's tech lab. Perfect! Let's go and research this, and figure out what the legacy of Dolos exactly is, as well as extract another 25 cryopods. I can still search the battlefield, I can dismantle Outer Hope entirely, or I can just leave. I want to search the battlefield and see if there's any more information about what happened, what this battle exactly entailed. Who were they fighting? Why were they fighting them? And is there anything left that we can salvage? Let's see. After a while, we've completed the analysis of the battlefield. The battle seems to have been made up of multiple engagements, with debris from conflicts mostly consisting of wrecked shuttles. Some of these destroyed ships bear the insignia of the UN, though the majority carry Dolos emblems. Sophisticated weapon systems were also identified among the wreckage, bearing the acronym BMS. The Rat's team was able to salvage some resources from the debris. So that's another 40 resources, perfect. And now we're going to dismantle the whole station and get, hopefully, a whole bunch of resources from that. Because I am doing okay on alloys and polymers, but the rest, fairly low, to the point where I just barely have any. So let's get some more. And fortunately, there is still a bunch of iron to mine here in these asteroids. And as all of this was going on, I have also figured out that there is a debris field over there, and that Venus still has a bunch of information, as well as Saturn and Neptune, so we still have ways to go and things to explore. But I don't want this episode to run for too long. I hope you'll join me for the next one very soon, as we're going to figure out more about what is going on in this solar system. What's happening with the other outposts, because sure enough, Outer Hope probably isn't the only one that saw some sort of incident. And I hope you'll join me as I discover more and more about these secrets. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more.